The background to this video is the background to this video is somebody tried to give me money to make this video or analyze for them a few years ago, right? I didn't take the money because I wasn't in the mood at all. Then more and more, this whole anti-passport, all the people turning on passport bros, the good passport bros, and they're not making discernments and they talking shitty and they saying dumb shit out their mouth, calling guys names and stuff. It's weird, but isn't it insane that isn't it saying that America has the most money. American women has the most money that back them than any other country in the world, and they're their least favorite women that anybody out here likes. Immigrants come over here and they stay with their own. They don't want no black chicks. They don't want no. They would some of them would get with the white girls because the white girls have the high standards of the blonde hair, blue eyes, right? That's about it. But that's still the women in some of these races know that that's what men like, and so they would probably do that themselves. But a lot of these women are not sought after. Ask yourself this: how bad is American women when you have $1 trillion government, $1 trillion of industry backing them to try to get you to go with them, to date them, and it's not working? Don't y'all don't y'all don't y'all find it weird that it's over probably 8,000 or probably 20 or 30 or 40,000 videos against Passport Bros, even though Passport Bros is a small majority? Isn't it funny that the red pill community is very small, and the red pill community has more influence than these people who have trillions of dollars backing? Isn't it funny that they can't convince us in the most commercialized, capitalistic society in the world to convince us men to date the women here? Isn't it funny that the Philippines, Colombia, Brazil, any of these other countries do not have any financial backing to promote them being the best women, but they're promoted by other men and promoted by other entities for us to go towards them? Yes, a lot of men are dying pursuing this, but isn't it crazy that nobody's dying pursuing these women? Ain't nobody believing the quote unquote good woman. Ain't nobody believing that the women here are good. Even though they had certain campaigns. Remember the church girl agenda? How about the HBCU agenda? How about the college girl? Let's meet college girl and college girl agenda. How about the Comic-Con agenda? I can keep going. These are $1 million campaigns to get men to date these women. These romantic movies. You have people even in this space who call you a loser and inexperienced and all this other shit and tell you have to get yourself together and get tied down to one of these women who, mind you, won't give you what you want in the bedroom. Right? You're going to be stuck with a woman who tells you no, no, no. But you have to do all these husband doozies. They act like we don't see how other married men are doing. If you're happy in your marriage, why are you in the space of single men? Why are you trying to throw marriage in other people's faces like the stats are not there? You can't convince 95% men to go marry none of these women. Even if every man, and it's impossible. Whoever talks, I'm going to make a video about that too. I'm going to separate it. But I'm going to say it now. Whoever talks and thinks that Every single man could get a six-figure job in this whole country is a fucking idiot. Every single man in this country can fill a certain spot. It's not enough jobs out here for every man to be out here working, because eventually they're going to have to go to lower tier jobs. And every one of these women wants some high tier job. Or they'll make you pay for it by keep telling you you're a loser. Or they want you to juggle 18 different sources of income to feed their needs and feed the child needs and feed this and this and this and that, right? Isn't it funny that Japanese women, most Eastern Asian women, Middle Eastern women, they do not have the same financially promotional backing as American women, and they still end up beating these women in attraction. They still end up being one of the most sought after groups of women because, well, the women here suck. You got rich, multi-billionaire men overseas who don't even come here. They pick a couple women and they bring them to their country, and they that's it. But they don't come here. The most successful, even the most lonely men in other countries who have money, they don't come here for dating. Isn't it weird that no man comes here for sex tourism? Isn't it weird that no man comes here to try to date the women here? Every time most of the women leave this country and go to another country, most of them fail. Most of them fail. But no videos is made about them because they can't, nobody can tolerate them. Right? Nobody can tolerate them. A lot of them end up dead. You know, like the women in Gambia, right? The body positivity movement is about at least a close to $200 or $300 million campaign, at least. And this is not new, but you add up the commercials and all the stuff and all of the promotions that they did with Lizzo and all that shit, you'll see. Black is beautiful, big and bold and all that, all the commercial. You'll see. How about this one? Remember Sports Illustrated when they had Martha Stewart on the cover? Remember I made a video saying leave no woman behind? The movement of leave no women behind? I wasn't lying. They're trying so hard to push these women onto us, and it's not working. Men would rather go across the seas instead of dating these women. These women are so terrible that we don't want to date them. Anything, and I'm going to tell you this right now, anything that men want, we will actually do what we need to do to get it. None of these women none of these women are worth sought after in this country. None of them. That's the funny thing about this. We don't believe that there's good women. We don't believe that if you be a productive guy, you be a good guy, you're going to end up with a sexy, fine, or cute, or even a above average girl, and you're going to date her and wife her up, because guess what? There's men out here that are way above you and myself, and they looking out here and they say, this shit sucks. And they leave. Or they single for 5-6 years until they be like, yo, I can't do it no more. And they go somewhere else. Do you know how much information that is being hidden from the public, from the domestic violence situation, from how many female pedophiles are in the dating pool, how many female killers that got released from prison after doing 15 years and they're in the dating pool now, older women? There's so many fucked up women in the dating pool, and guess what? Red Pill exposed them. They had kids, and they taught their kids fucked up shit. Now their kids are in the wild. There's too much fucked up people out here to even engage with none of these people. And the funny thing about this is that nobody is trying to make a campaign to show the women are worthwhile. They're just promoting what they want to promote. They tried to promote that they love men. They need men. The trad con women. Those women, the fake trad con women, They got $1 million behind them. Do you remember Brittany Venti and her bullshit? And how she dated a guy called Think Before You Sleep? And that guy ended up throwing his whole channel and his whole mentality out the window when he dated Brittany Venti. And guess what? They didn't even last but 6 or 7 months until she broke up with him and jumped to another guy. And then her going after just pearly things made her look stupid. And that was her last hurrah. Because after that, if you going against the red pill, you gotta make sure that your success, what you say, and what you're gonna replace the red pill with, it gotta be 100% proof wise. That means that if, oh my God, I'm gonna make sure to go after all these people and make sure they never get to the red pill. Okay, they better be successful. Because if they become dull and successful, I want these people to bring up every single time you failed them. And you can't say shit because you took the responsibility out of them knowing something truthful. Here we go right here. Don't y'all realize that there's a $1 billion campaign against red pill to make the average woman the best choice for men? Mind you, there's a reason why a lot of these guys will tell you, hey man, all you gotta do is get with a wholesome girl and then wife her up. Mind you, these guys bang the so-called wholesome girls. They hate when the playing field is level. That's why they call you a trick. That's why they call you names and say all this other shit. But when I asked them, I said, why can't you convince more men to like the women you say are good? Why can't the women convince the men how good they are? Because if you convince them and you have campaigns, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Because men did the same thing. They just wasted their time. But the average woman has financial backing to try to take down a red pill. So basically a bunch of men can be unhappy with these average women. There's a guy, a black tech guy in here. He was showing his house. His girl was pretty below average. And she dressed nice, but she was below average. Not only he had a live stream, he said that he didn't want to be married. He said if he went back, he wouldn't be married. But this is the same dude who was under live streams talking about these guys are scared of responsibility and all this other shit. Now, we already know that millions, oh man, millions, and I mean millions and probably even billions was dumped into trying to force men to be stepdads to kids that wasn't theirs. White men had it, Asian men had it, Latino guys had it, and even super ordinary black men had it. It didn't work with a whole bunch of people, and black men were the only ones left. And eventually, we cut our numbers in half. They can only produce a couple stepfathers now. They can't produce at least 20 or 30 million stepfathers. They can only produce about 5 million, 6 million, 7 million at best. You know the reason why I say this? Because the youth is a lot more angry. The youth is a lot more lost. You should see these motherfuckers. They are hurting each other. They are hurting people. They're just chaotic people because they can't take their anger out on anybody else. They don't have no stepdad to step in and absorb all the punishment that most stepdads do. They absorb the most responsibility and the punishment, and then so they could punish the stepfather, this regular Joe Smo dude, and then he doesn't have to. The kid doesn't do all this stuff on outside. But without the stepfathers, they have to get angry. They're the true terrorists. They're the true extremists out here. But for some reason, they say the red pill is extremists, right? And even that, the government is behind people to try to take down the red pill. Google is $1 trillion company. I'm not lying about the campaign. They're pro-woman. This whole society is built to try to make women win and to try to make women rule over men and choose them and tell them which woman they should be dating. And it's not working at all. You know, a lot of guys, they want to turn a lot of men into working husbands. Husbands that only work for the family, They have no time off. Father's Day, they get nothing. Valentine's Day, they got to give the woman Valentine's Day. They work, and make everybody happy but themselves. And that's supposed to make them happy. They work until they die. And that's their duty. This is what these guys want to produce. A bunch of working husbands to be slaves to be a slave family man. You slave to your kids and you're a slave to your wife. While she get to do whatever she wants. Now, I asked the AI, the AI came and asked, and I asked, which is considered the most beautiful women in the world? The most beautiful women in the world. Now, let's see the answer. Sweden, Colombia, Bolivia, Ukraine, India, and South Korea. This is not me. I didn't make this up. This is the AI who considered the most beautiful women based off data they collected. The U.S. is not even on there. I went to multiple places and looked and said, who has the world's most beautiful women? And the United States they're not on any of these lists. None of them. None of these lists. Why is it that the lowest of the low in every other country who makes a lot of money, they never come here to date? When their women bad in UK, they don't come to America. When they're bad in Canada, they don't come to America. When they bad in Germany, they don't come to America. When they bad in South Korea, they don't come to America. When they bad in Brazil, they don't come to America. When they bad in China, they don't come to America. Bolivia, they don't come to America. Australia, they don't come to America. What is it? France, they don't come to America. They all miss America. Middle East, they don't come to America. Hawaii, they don't come to America. Why is it that every single Mexico, they don't come to America? Puerto Rico, they don't come to America to date. Dominican Republic, they don't come to America to date. Why you think that they stay with their own? Don't you think that a lot of them want to date other races of women if it was worth it? No. They won't. They don't want to date here because they know what these women are. They know what these women are. They got family here, and they family tell them that. I even heard guys that I worked around told me straight out they would never marry a chick over here. They would rather wait and go back to their home country to make the date. That's how bad it is here. That is how bad it is in this country. And isn't it so messed up that the women here is handing every single thing? $1 trillion movements, programs, the movements, program, commercials, and nobody still wants to date them. It's like somebody trying to sell you a hamburger And the commercial is worth $1 billion to try to sell you into that it's the best burger in the world. And everybody looking at the burger like, I don't believe it. And then they're like, no, there's other burgers out there that's better than the burger that's being promoted. It's like they're promoting it's like Xbox versus Sony. Sony is a $1 billion company and still beat the shit out of Xbox, and Xbox got to put their games on on PlayStation because their gamers don't buy games. Isn't it funny that the people here can't convince the incels, the losers, to get with certain women, and they can't convince you to pursue them. They can't get you to. It's weird that in a capitalist, the most commercialized society that turns everything into a business, they can't get you to marry none of these women, date none of these women, and go on none of these women. If you could, in humanity, people has been convinced to do some of the worst, vile things that you ever could imagine. From cults, from 1940s Germany, Japan. You can convince people if the message is worth listening to, if it sounds good enough. And America has all that knowledge to ball it up. Almost 200 something years, or more than 200 something years of knowledge to promote MK Ultra, all types of programming, and it's still not working. The music isn't working. All of it isn't working. Guys would rather stay the fuck away from these women in a room. You put one guy in a room full of 100 women and say, hey, pick one woman. He'll probably be like, no, thank you. He'll put you put a guy in the room full of above average looking women, and he'll still say no thank you because it won't be worth it. Isn't it funny that a lot of these men who talk shit down to passport bros, incels, you're not even selling a point. We're in America where you're supposed to sell everything. They sold what was it? How stupid people are, right? They sold Atlanta to black people, and that failed. They sold California to people. Remember, back in the early 40s, 20s, California was being sold to live your dreams. The California dream went down. That was millions and millions of dollars selling the dream. New York being some of the best place in the world. And people bust that bubble. Only a few people want to move to New York. It's expensive as shit. Most people moving out. California, it's a bust. Houston, it's a bust. All these different places, they try to sell you on the South. All these little fucking pieces of shit people. And they still can't convince you to do it. But I bet you if they make a video about Japanese girls, you could sell me right then and there. You can sell me on any other country. Give me a little thing. Give me some stuff. I already listen to the music. I already watch some of the shows. I already watch some of the movies. I'm already in that. Isn't it funny that none of these countries that I can point to that men go to don't have any commercials for them? Not one fucking commercial to go to Colombia the trick. Not one commercial to go to any of these countries to trick. Not one. But you got fucking weird ass Las Vegas. You got all these people talking about, oh, the Instagram models, the OnlyFans. The OnlyFans motherfucking women are not making a lot of money. That's the reason why they're going after passport bros. A lot of these motherfuckers are hurting in their wallets and never believe that these women have 100 dudes lined up to date them, because they don't. That's why they hang out with each other now. That's why you see a team of women hanging out with each other. That's why they share the same group of dudes, because they don't have a bunch of simps no more to kiss their ass. They give them free money anymore. That's why a lot of this violence is happening more and more and more. $1 trillion women losing to third world women. Isn't it funny? Women that don't have any type of backing on their looks, on their sexuality, nothing. And that tells you about the men who go over to these countries. Some of them go over these countries for stupid reasons, or they go without little information. But then some guys they do they studying. Some guys take 3-4 years before they even book a plane ticket, so they can know every single thing, so they don't get caught up in none of this bullshit and getting killed and none of that, right? But it's insane. It's insane that you got a group of women who can't even convince guys to want to date them. I'm going to tell you this right now. If a PlayStation was $2,000 today or tomorrow, and a bunch of guys didn't have no job, I bet you today or tomorrow, in 6 months, those dudes will be working their motherfucking ass off to afford that motherfucking that new PlayStation that costs $2,000, because they want it. Most guys, if they want something bad, they will accomplish it. They will destroy everything in their way to get it. And none of these girls seem like they're worth it. That's how whack these girls are. Then y'all know. Imagine you're being promoted by every single media outlet that you're the best thing since sliced bread and nobody believes it. Imagine if you go to a store, and everything that was promoted on TV, they still sitting in the shelves. But everything that nobody knows nothing about, all those shelves are empty, and everybody's eating all those stuff up. The most promoted stuff is not even being it's not even being bought. But the least promoted stuff is being bought, and people are getting it at a high rate. That's how sad and low level these women really are here. I don't have to say anything else, man.